What's up everyone and welcome back to another Pokemon X and Pokemon Y Wi-Fi battle. So this is another battle against PkSparkxx aka Tim, and I guess he was just testing out a new team and it's a really well constructed team. Don't mind the Zygarde, he's not an Uber at all. He's like just how you would use Zapdos and OU and everything. He's also usable. But I like how he's using a lot of really underused Pokemon. So Metagross and Snorlax, I've never seen them before in a Wi-Fi battle. So I didn't really know how I'm supposed to fight them because, I mean, you usually know how to beat a Pokemon through experience. The Galvantula, I know how to beat. It's there to set up Sticky Web and also go for the Compound Ice Thunder. So that was my main fear, but I knew that's what he's going to do because the Sticky Web is a really good advantage to have. It's a really good asset to have. So I'm actually going to lead with my Gyarados to pretend like I made a bad play of a Pokemon I'm going to choose, but you'll see why I did that. So I know that it's going to be really tempting to go for the Thunder, or let me give this a bit of time to load, but this guy needs to change his clothes. Change it a bit actually. So here we go, Gyarados and Galvantula. So I know it's going to be really tempting for him to go for the Thunder, but I'm actually going to stay in as he goes for the Sticky Web and go for the Dragon Dance. Yeah. But now, since my speed is multiplied by 1.5, I completely outspeed pretty much everything on his team if it's not Choice Scarfed. So he knows what's up, and he's going to switch out. And he's going to go into his Rotom. And Rotom, predicting this, I go for the Stone Edge because I was going to go for the Earthquake because it has the best accuracy and it does the exact same amount as a Stone Edge would. But I knew he would not stay and he would expect something like an Earthquake, so he switches out. And Earthquakes is really common on Gyarados because he Mega Evolves, and the Mold Breaker is a really good addition. Really good combo with the Earthquake. So I'm going to switch into Gligar, get the Toxic Orb, and switch right back out into Ferrothorn because, well, Ferrothorn can tank pretty much anything. I get caught in the Sticky Web, doesn't matter. Ferrothorn's supposed to be really slow anyways, especially for Gyro Ball. He's going to switch out on the same turn that I switch out my Gligar and go into his own Steel-type Metagross. He was probably predicting the Toxic, and that's actually why I switched out into Ferrothorn. And this gives me a free chance to set up the Sticky Web. I'm not the Sticky Web, the Stealth Rocks. I don't carry Sticky Web. I need to get a Galvantula. It's a really good advantage to have Sticky Web, like I said. And now I get my rocks up and he has his Sticky Web up. He's gonna use Gastro Acid. I'm not sure. Oh, he was probably thinking I was going to Gligar because, I mean, the Thunder move is not too well, I don't know why he would go for a Thunder move now for me to switch out into Gligar, but you never know. I might have switched out into Gligar to use the Earthquake or something. So there we go. He uses Gastro Acid and gets rid of my Iron Barbs, and I'm gonna switch out into Gliscor now, or Gliscor now, and he's gonna go for the Bug Buzz. It is a special attack, so even though I resist it, it is gonna do a pretty good amount of damage, about, I guess, 30%. And this also told me he was Life Orb, so I don't know what I was thinking before. I thought he was Choiced at first, which is why I thought he switched out right after, because, I mean, I would go for the Thunder on that Gyarados if I could, because, I mean, even though I have to switch out the Gyarados, I don't know, but he's gonna go for the Gastro Acid on my Gliscor as I go for the Substitute. I completely forgot that he had outspeed me, completely forgot that he would use that, and now my Toxic Orb is actually gonna be poisoning me, and I'm gonna take more and more damage every turn. So I want to get the heck out of here because I am not staying in while taking more and more toxic damage, even though I have a sub set up. What's the point of it? I should just switch out, right? No, I go for the Earthquake, and he brings in his Metagross. The Air Balloon. This Air Balloon is going to last a long time in this match, and it's going to cause a lot of problems because this Gliscor only has Toxic and Earthquake that can damage opponents. So I have to switch out into Ferrothorn expecting a physical move, either Bullet Punch or Meteor Mash, and he actually goes for the Bullet Punch, I think. Or was it Meteor Mash? No, he goes for the Meteor Mash. I kind of revealed his moveset a bit, but he has Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash, and he's going to take even more damage than what I took from the Iron Barbs, the Stealth Rocks. Well, let's not include the Stealth Rocks. The Iron Barbs and the Rocky Helmet is a really good combination on Ferrothorn. In combination with his high defense and high special defense, he's the perfect tank because he's tanked in both defense and special defense tank, because not only does he have good defense and special defense, but he has a good attack stat and a pretty good move pool. So I'm going to go for the Protect, see what he's going to do. He's going to go for the Bullet Punch, and I also get HP back. And although I can take a Bullet Punch, I'm actually going to switch out back into Ferrothorn, and he's going to take even more Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs damage. And this is actually better for me because now he's under the half mark. So now his HP goes below 50%. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Goes for the Bullet Punch, takes some time. Iron Barbs, Rocky Helmet. Oh my god, I love this combination. You just feel so good when you switch in on a physical attack. When you switch in on a Kangaskhan, it is just amazing. Their HP literally goes way past half, and if they were to hit you again, and they kind of have to switch out because if they do hit you again, unless they use Earthquake or whatever, it's just really bad for them. So I go for the power up because I have to get rid of his air balloon. He still has it, even though he has so much HP lost. And this Snorlax is gonna go for the curse, not caring about the toxic, the leech seed, or anything. So right off the bat, I knew it was gonna be a Resto Chesto Snorlax. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and switch out into my Gliscor, I think. Or no, I switch out into my Gengar because I was expecting him. Yeah, I switch out into my Gengar because I was expecting him to go for some kind of normal move or some kind of fighting move or something. I don't know. It looked better in my head, but he goes for another curse. So now he has ×2 attack and ×2 defense. And the speed doesn't really matter because Snorlax is okay to be slow. And now I know he's going to rest this turn because he can't take 2 more attacks, which he's going to have to take if he doesn't rest this turn. So I'm going to go ahead and switch on to Gliscor so I can go for the Toxic as soon as he wakes up from his Chesto Berry, which is actually going to be at the end of this turn. So on the next turn, I'm going to outspeed and go for the Toxic. And since my Gliscor is completely invested in defense and HP, he's going to be able to take this ×2 attack no matter what. So I go for the Toxic. The Snorlax is toxic or poisoned. I like to say toxic because it's different than being poisoned, but he goes for the Body Slam, the Stab Body Slam, and I'm still going to be able to live it. And I'm going to be able to stall it out for a bit, go for a Protect, and since he's -2 in speed, I'll be able to set up as many substitutes as I want. So if anything, it's good for me, and he knows this, so he wastes all that effort, his Chesto Berry, his curse and everything, which was the right move. He decides to switch out into his Tyranitar, and if he didn't, then he would have lost his Snorlax. He would have been in the same situation, but without a Snorlax. That was smart of him. So like I did to his Galvantula and his Snorlax, I'm also going to Toxic his Tyranitar, which is going to be really helpful to me because it puts a timer on a Pokemon. Each time you use Toxic on a Pokemon, it gives them a timer. I think after 3 turns, it starts doing large chunks of damage. The first 2 turns are really, really minuscule, and he actually gets his rocks up as well as I go for the Toxic. So now not too many of my Pokemon are gonna be hurt by the rocks, except, I mean, the only exceptions are Scolipede and Gyarados at the 2 corners of the screen. So I'm not too scared of that, and besides, it's not 4 times effective. It's just a 12.5% hurt. I think it's 25% damage, but I really do need to get a Rapid Spinner. I'm not sure if Ferrothorn can learn Rapid Spin. It kind of suits him. But anyways, he's gonna switch his Tyranitar out for Metagross, and at the same turn, or in the same turn, I'm gonna go for the substitute. Again, there's nothing I can do to this Metagross, so all I'm gonna do is get my HP back from the substitute. 2 turns will give me back all that HP, and he's gonna set up the Agility. A Pokemon like Metagross loses his potential, well, not his potential, but his weakness is his speed. So when you set that up, then he just becomes a monster. It's like a Slay King without his truant ability. That's how it is. So I gotta get out of there. I don't even care about my substitute. I'm gonna go into Ferrothorn. He predicts this, and he goes for the Earthquake. And I mean, what could Gliscor do? I mean, it was a really solid prediction, but I mean, there's nothing my Gliscor could have done. And I was really hoping he would go for a physical attack, but he's gonna go for the Earthquake. I know I can live it because it just the way it, I mean, it did just under half of what I had left, so I knew I could live it. I go for the Power Whip. Now when I think about it, I think I should have just went for the Explosion because I bred my Ferrothorn without Leech Seed, so I just gave him Explosion, and it wouldn't, I don't think it made too much of a difference because Power Whip is neutral, but I'm actually not gonna sack my 7 HP Ferrothorn, and I'm actually gonna go into Gyarados. I completely forgot that he had Stealth Rocks up. I was gonna use the Ferrothorn to take a physical hit and provide the recoil, but it's not gonna happen. Ferrothorn's gonna die upon entering, so I've got pretty much a useless Pokemon sitting right there, but I do take out his Metagross thanks to him using Earthquake when sending in, and due to the only move that he can hit me with being a not very effective move. So there goes one of his big threats that had an agility set up. So here comes the Galvantula. My Focus Sash is actually broken, so I'm actually fearing it, and I knew he was going to go for the Thunder move. There's no point in going for like Bug Buzz or something at that point. If you can take out the Gyarados, you should, because he knows I'll try setting up, and that if a Gyarados sets up, then he's going to have to get out of there, so he wants to take it out. And there's nothing with playing safe, nothing wrong with playing safe. So he's going to go for the Gaster Acid again. I never really thought Gaster Acid would be that good of a move, but I actually stay in and go for the Toxic, just in case he thought that I would switch out and he would want to double switch. And on the next turn again, I go for the Toxic again, and he's just going to go for the Thunder. So overall, he's losing Toxic HP, I'm losing Toxic HP, and that's pretty much it. And he's going to die finally from the Toxic. So that's his Galvantula finally. And now after I take more Toxic damage, Tim over here is going to send out his Zygarde. Now, I've never fought a Zygarde before, and it's perfectly fine. I just considered it like a Garchomp, a more bulky Garchomp. So the first thing I wanted to do was put a timer on this as well by going for the Toxic. And he's going to go for the Dragon Dance. So he doesn't have a bad move pool. Everyone told me he has a terrible move pool. He looks ugly and everything, and that's completely wrong. This guy has a good move pool, has amazing stats, and he looks sick. So I go for the Toxic, but he actually carries the Lumberry. So that's the whole reason that he was able to set up why he was confident setting up a Dragon Dance. So now he's perfectly clean. I died the Poison because I wanted to completely use Gliscor. There's no point in switching out. And he's got a +1 attack and speed Zygarde. So I'm going to go into Gyarados, and he's going to go for the extreme speed and kill the Gyarados. So this Zygarde is already doing damage. And if Zygarde had Moxie or something, I know it has Aura Break because it had to follow the storyline, but if it had Moxie or something, it would be a much bigger threat. And at this point, I knew if I sent out Gengar, he would fear the Dazzling Gleam. And I'm Choice Scarfed, so I go for the Destiny Bond, and at +1, an Outrage is going to take me out, and I knew he would go for the Outrage or a Dragon Claw or some all-out move, because one Dazzling Gleam from a Choice Specs Gengar or Life Orb Gengar and stuff is going to do a lot of damage to a Zygarde, and he didn't want to take the chance. So when I go for the Destiny Bond, it's going to take out a Zygarde as well. So now it's just 3-on-3, and he has his Tyranitar and his Snorlax still poisoned. So this is his only non-poisoned Pokemon, and I send out my Kangaskhan freely. And knowing Kangaskhan, he's going to deal some damage. So I'm going to go ahead and trigger the Mega Evolution and go for the return, I think. Do I go for the return? This battle's really slow paced. I might speed it up in the future. So I Mega Evolve and I go for the return. Yes, I do. I was going to go for the Power Punch, but I knew that he'd probably set up the Toxic or the Will-O-Wisp. But Will-O-Wisp would have really... I mean, it wouldn't have made too much of a difference. It would have put a much longer timer on Kangaskhan. But if I did set up the Power Punch, then I would have been neutral again, because it cuts your attack in half, and then Power Punch pretty much doubles your attack, so it would have been canceling each other out. So now I'm going to go for the Power Punch, because I know it won't kill it, but I know Tyranitar can't kill me back. So now I'm going to double my attack stat, leave him in the range where Poison won't kill him, but another Power Punch will. He's going to go for the Stone Edge to do as much damage as he can to me. He hits it, but he doesn't get the critical hit. The critical hit probably would have killed me in combination with the Sandstorm. So I guess the rest of the match is straightforward. Sadly, Scolipede over there didn't get to participate, but outspeeding his Tyranitar and already at +2, now +3, is going to be able to sweep his entire team, although it's only Tyranitar and Snorlax left. But a return is going to easily take out his Snorlax in one hit, so that's pretty much game. So I think his team was actually really well constructed. He has the Galvantula with Compound Eyes. A Thunder type is actually really good for your team, because the only thing that it can't hit really well is ground. It obviously learns other moves and everything, and I use a Thunder type in the Battle Maze, and it actually does a lot of damage. In the double battles with a Water type and a Thunder type, you can pretty much take out at least 2 Pokemon before fainting. His Snorlax can take a lot of hits because it's specially bulky, and then when he uses Curse, Resto Chesto, he's physically bulky and specially bulky, and he has that attack boost. His Tyranitar, which I think is his Mega Evolution, he just didn't trigger it. Why didn't he trigger it? Or why doesn't he have a Mega on his team? Anyways, his Tyranitar can take a lot of hits. As you can see, he took a 4 times effective move, even though it has 40 base power and no stab. He took it twice, His Zygarde is his his setup sweeper, and his Metagross can take hits, set up an attack, and his Rotom is a really good Pokemon to start off with if you're not going to start off with Galvantula. And everything works out together, but he was still testing out his team. They don't have their final movesets and everything, and this is his first time using it, I think, and I actually have this as the default team in my box. And actually, after this battle, I don't think I'm using Mega Kangaskhan anymore. I think I just threw him in the corner of box 31 or something. So, probably won't see Mega Kangaskhan for a long time now that he's banned. I mean, if I didn't have Mega Kangaskhan, it would have been a much more interesting battle with Tyranitar, Tyranitar and his Snorlax versus my Scolipede and my Ferrothorn. But this battle's done, and it's been a week since it happened anyway. I don't know why I'm still talking about it. He probably perfected this team, perfected every Pokemon by now. And he Ivy breeds and everything, so he puts a lot of work. But anyways, that's going to be the video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. And be sure to check out PkSparkxx or Dathottness from the description below. And I will see you guys next time.